Holy moly, that's hot. Hot, 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 hot. Alright, gotta get rid of all of this. Okay! We're good, I think. As I scroll through everything again. Hello! Hello, hello, hello. Ah! Sorry, I'm getting rid of things. Just so it doesn't mess with my bitrate. It was delicious. I had tacos. It was delicious. But yeah, hello, 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 hello. Where the heck did you go? Where's this stupid program that I wanted to get rid of, but he went away? He's hiding from me. Well, there's one, but not that one. I want the other one that's hiding. There it is. Haha. You've never really had tacos? I think you should have some. They're delicious. Well, it's homemade tacos. I love myself some good homemade food. Alright. Now, it is time to continue. Don't do that, please. What kind of tacos? How do I explain? Earth tacos. So, I don't mind soft shell, but I prefer not to have a shell at all. So I just have the meat, then I have the cheese, and I have the sour cream. And then I use my fork to dip it in the sour cream, to pick up the meat, and then I eat the cheese separately, or sometimes have it all together like that. Don't ask me why. It just tastes better that way. It's just one of those things. Just one of those things. So a non-taco? Kind of. Yeah, if you want to think of it. A deconstructed taco would probably be better wording. Anyway, look, this guy's got a crepe. Yeah, I don't know. It just is one of those things. Alright. Time to deal with the guy who's got a crepe in his hand. Hello, sir. I think that's a crepe. Or is it a fish and chips in a paper newspaper? Yeah, it fits, doesn't it? Could we trouble you? What do you think? Lovely weather, isn't it? What's the weather got to do with anything? Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. Some flippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eaten out of your hand, you know? Ugh. But Susato-san told me it was foolproof. In a library. Well, it's in someone's office. It's not really a library. It's his it's the frickin' Supreme Justice. So it's even more bad. I'm a busy man, a very busy man. There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes of you a talking to. Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers there would be saying, Haven't seen Grayson anywhere, have you? Nah, he's too busy with the big weeks these days. It's always appropriate, isn't now? Oh, because of some bunkin who's here on a jaunt from a country I've never even heard of. Hello. Danes want to come off a desk worth 4 times his monthly salary. Yeah. Yeah, it is a bad idea. Very bad idea. Let me shimmy a little further over. There we go. Hear that ripping sound? That's my reputation at the yard going to tatters. To enjoy sufficient chips, I guess. There's no need to rip us apart as well.
I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ryanosuke Naruto, a defense lawyer.
Eh?
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruto's judicial assistant.
Eh?
It's lovely weather. Lovely weather. It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it?
Why are you doing the kanji today? Not everyone can participate in a language they don't understand. And I know you can speak English, you're just being. English to English, what the frick? This. Because he can.
It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it?
It is unreasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine. Unbelievable. How did he pull that off? So him, Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Grayson. Inspector Grayson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard.
Grayson? Inspector Grayson?
What's the matter with Susato-san? Probably someone famous. If I had to guess. Does this detective's name mean something to her? Inspector Grayson. Greg. There's not. He's just making an analogy about seagulls being rats with wings.
Inspector, are you perhaps the Inspector Grayson?
Oh boy. You're acting like you know this man, Miss Susato, but he's a London detective. No, there's no rats.
Oh, I do know him very well, in fact.
Very well.
Yes, he features prominently in the adventures of Sherlock Shalom's.
Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Rancet Magazine? Gregson, not Grayson. What? Fine, Gregson. There.
That's right, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Shalom's enjoy a wonderful, friendly rivalry.
Really? You rival the great Shaloms? That's incredible. Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Shaloms isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with the goods from time to time. I'm just gonna be like, never change. Hey, you try to say that name. It's not Sherlock Holmes. How would you say his last name, then? Because he's Herlock. And what the frick is that last name? Because I can't figure it out. Shaloms. Because I'm used to the name Sho, which is S-H-O. Shaloms. Or Shaloms. Why would there... Why would you have an H in there? Shaloms? Shaloms. It doesn't really matter. It's a weird way of... It's not even... Shulums? Shulums? Oh, because Sherlock Holmes? Sholums?
Mr. Sholums is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise.
Show, not shoe. S-H-O. Show.
Grayson is the pick of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his words.
That's his highest praise? Why, would you rather me just say it the way that I've been saying it, or do we want to try to figure out how I'm going to say it? Like you're saying shoe. It's show. And we know how to pronounce. Yeah? And I'm from outer space. So what does that matter, does it? Oh boy. Bless your soul. Hey, I try.
While Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see.
That he is not, and thanks to that magazine, my name is known all over London town now. I almost said Scotland Yard. That's great, isn't it? I have to admit that to start with, I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and my reputation at the yard went through the roof. Well, that's wonderful. No, it is not. There's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. People are always looking at me now. They're whispering rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure. Well... Rumors? I don't know what you would like to do, because that's what happens when you become famous. Especially as a detective, that they can see you walking down the street. Rumors?
Are you quite sure?
He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. The fame's got to his head. Stuff like that. Oh my gosh, is everything just...
Gosh, you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you?
Like I said, they whisper, so I can't exactly catch exactly what they're saying, but I know what folk are like. I'm sure that's what they're saying. As sure as eggs is eggs. And if you're reading the 7 branch, so Suchi, I'm gonna break. My brain is going to just fall apart. Golly, I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work.
Oh dear, perhaps as a sudden rise to fame does change people.
The case. So, about the case that the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before. Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned at the yard, it couldn't be simpler.
Oh dear, that probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated.
Wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking along the pavement on Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Oh wow, so we're not even connected to... I thought we were going to be going related to the case of, Magnus. It's probably connected to Magnus. Shichishito. There we go. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in hospital, unconscious.
That's despicable. What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind?
Suppose you would have finished whoever it was off with a Susato takedown, would you? Hello!
That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruto.
Brace yourself for Inosuke if you've angered her now. Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. He barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest. Okay, hi, bye, I guess. So there must have been something left. So there must have been something left at the crime scene that led you directly to the culprit? Hey, he might be busy. He just wanted to drop in and say hi.
Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question?
Let me stop you there. You're wasting your time on this one. Sorry? There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help the bloke now. Why ever not? Simple. The prosecutor that's been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Baroque von Zeeks. And no, I'm not having performance issues. Anyway, I'm pretty sure Gregson is named Tobias. His last name is Gregson. His first name's Tobias. And, Mal? He was here and he left. He told us that we had things to do and he had to leave because he had important business to tend to. And then left us with this guy. No, the bars didn't drop on my side. Everything's completely fine. For what I could tell. Bars are completely good on my side. Might be a YouTube issue. Or Baroque von Zeeks. Ha! Yes, I get it. I get it. No! Sounds like you've heard of him, then.
Oh yes, we are very familiar with Lord Van Zeeks.
Yeah, you know, the guy that we won just because he didn't have any evidence? The one that is like a, Edgeworth ripoff?
Believed to be the harbinger of death itself.
The Reaper of the Bailey. If you remember our client, Magnus, the guy in the thumbnail, not this guy, but the other guy with the top hat, he was freed because they didn't have enough evidence to prove that he was guilty. And then they were checking the, carriage, the omnibus, and he died inside in a fire. So now he's dead. Well, I am not having it. I have not any dropped frames at all, so I don't know what to tell you. I'm fine on my side. And I have excellent connection. Who? Do I have him in the thumbnail? I thought I did. Did I not? Oh, the hat. Okay, let me... Fine, I'll grab the thing real quick. Let me do this. Minimize this. Open this. Minimize that. Alright, I can just show a quick thing. Is attorney... Magnus. The one with the big top hat. The rich dude. Alright, let's do this. Willy Wonka died? Yes. That image. Let's do this. That guy. This guy. This guy died. Alright, let me do. Yeah, that guy. Oh, so that's... what about the case then? Is it closed then? You mean his death, or do you mean the case that we had previously? If you're talking about the case we had previously, he was non-committed. And if I get the image that I need... There we go. This was his fate. This is what happened to him. So yeah. He is now, not here. Yeah, he's not in the world of the living anymore. He, is gone. We won the case and he was able to stay. Yep. Yes. Simplest answer, yes. Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Baroque von Zeeks, who we faced in court only yesterday.
Mr. McGuile told us about him before the trial, didn't he?
Does the current case have to do with Wonka's demise? Assumingly, yes. How? We don't know yet. But I'm assuming so. Oh boy. When Van Zeke stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. This Reaper of the Bailey nickname, I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty. Is that it? Just the once, but that's just because of tampering of evidence, so I don't think it would completely ruin his reputation.
Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector, that in yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Naruto secured a victory of not guilty.
Yeah, he did, but, you know, I don't think it's not really based on Ranosuke's skills, it's just based on the fact that there was no evidence to prove that Magnus did it, so, you know. What of it?
Oh, well, I think that it means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant.
No, you really don't have a clue, do you? What do you mean? What happened to the bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. It's more like a draw. Yeah. Magnus beguiled came a cropper in the omnibus when it went up in flames. So you can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you? What? What are you saying? Look, if Van Zeeks could get the darts to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles, he works magic. Black magic. So we're now saying he's a magician now. First he's the Reaper. And now he's a freaking magician. I don't look down on Ryunosuke. I just think that in the eyes of the public, he wouldn't be seen as someone who is took down the Reaper of the Bailey. He's a vampire. Yeah, he's not putting it in his pocket, he's just holding it at the side. I've had a good long think about it if I were you. I'd have a good long think about it if I were you. Are we really supposed to believe that? Saw his face. Wow. Why to judge a person by their face? Right, well, I filled you in on his request and I'm very nearly out of chips. So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there.
It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place?
Yes, he is pale, but it doesn't freaking matter. That doesn't mean he's a vampire. That's correct, ma'am, and if you head over to the holding cell, you can meet the criminal himself. Seemed interesting. Huh? You've already branded him a criminal already? Alright, I gotta take a quick break. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back. Sorry. It was tradition, my gosh. Like I said, I had to do something real quick, so... That was something important. So, anyway, why did you put that in frickin' Japanese again? Alright, boom, 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 boom. And now I have to remove the explode. Well, good! Poor... Yes, I freaking read it. I know what you said. Okay. You ruined my immersion. What do you even mean? I had to do something real quick. Golly. What, would you rather me frickin' be like this? For a second? There. There, we could stand here for a second. How's that sound? I'm gonna drink my tea now. Well, that is your own fault, so I don't know what to tell you in that instance. You reap what you sow. So yeah, if you expected anything less, I don't know what to tell you. Golly. Alright, let's get back to this. That's not what happened. It's just the fact of the matter of when you grow, it's on the middle of where I am, and the middle of the body is typically, you know, the upper part of the body. Found my stairs. Well, why did you put them together? Oh my gosh, what do you freaking mean? That is the strangest thing that you have said yet. Alright. Anyway, let me dismiss that. Pin message? Okay. He's as good as shaking like a leaf in his cell as he is. He'll give you a chuckle if nothing else. Golly. He's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way. Inmate 53. Thank you. Goodbye, Gregson. So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say. Well, I don't know why you thought it was a good idea to have that all together anyways. Why didn't you just put it in a chest? Like an ender chest.
Is something trouble you, Mr. Naruto? Tell you the truth, when I recalled the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking.
It was a marvelous idea. What the frick?
The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is...
Well, then I don't know what to tell you then. Then I guess you should have frickin' put it underground in a chest somewhere.
Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage, too.
But if the man they arrested is innocent, you could well imagine he'd be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny.
So,
if I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. And I'm not really sure if I can be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try. So I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help?
Did you really think you had to ask? After all, I'm your judicial assistant.
That would have been boring. Well, there's your answer. The boring answer would have saved you the trouble of having to fix the mess that you have caused. Thank you. So then, shall we?
Yes, let's go.
Alright, let's save, and now we can go see the crime scene. Alright, move. Let's go to the scene of the crime, Briar Road. 19th of February, Briar Road. What happened to that bike? Oh, it's a snowman. Winning my case is good. They didn't just address those with everything I've done. Well, then yeah, I think you just, well, that's your own fault. The consequences of your actions. So this is where it happened. Briar Road.
Look, Mr. Naruto. Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak.
That's your own decision. You can choose how you want to live your life. That's all I can tell you. Not telling you what to do in a Minecraft server. That's a whole different thing, you know? Bum bum. That's their job, you know? What the fuck?
But Mr. Naruto, to see one with my own eyes? They're often depicted in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, but I never dreamt I'd ever come this close. To a real Bobby's helmet.
What? The helmet?
Of course. I have to try one on one day.
Well, I hope your hatty dreams come true. I don't see Inspector Gregson anywhere. Shall we see if we can sneak past and investigate the scene of the stabbing? Yes, we have said this before. Yes, she is Maya's equivalent.
Why should we sneak?
I don't want to upset one of those bobbies and be butted on the head by one of those metal helmets. My skull would crack in two, I'm sure.
Oh no, an English bobby would never do such a thing. This is a land of gentlemen, you know.
Just because apparently it is, doesn't mean it can't happen, Susato. Examine.
What a delightful snowman.
I didn't realize the English had a tradition of making snowmen as well. Looks a little creepy, though. Thick skull, you take it, golly. They were wild back then. See?
Oh, it has a scarf, look.
You need one if you were out in this freezing cold all the time. I wish I had one.
I'm afraid our budget is somewhat frozen at the moment, too. We certainly can't afford a scarf.
Surely the snowman here wouldn't miss his.
But the person who made the snowman certainly would.
5 times in the boat. Yeah. Even if I borrowed it, it wouldn't do much to warm my neck, would it? It's covered in snow. Be nothing inside of value. Wow. Alright. That's one of the officers from Scotland Yard. The police are making sure the crime scene is undisturbed. I have a feeling that if we wander too close, we'll be clapped in irons.
I think perhaps you're being a little overcautious. We've done nothing wrong, so we have no cause for concern.
Oh no, I'm not getting caught out. Again, twice is enough. Twice I found myself in handcuffs despite knowing a thing about what was going on.
Yes, you have some dreadful experiences. Excuse me. I'm sure it's that wide-eyed look of panic you're so prone to. It does you no favors at all.
Ugh. Okay.
Oh, that's a Scotland Yard carriage. They use vehicles like that to rush to crime scenes and cart away criminals.
You're very well informed, aren't you?
It's long been a dream of mine to ride one of those through the streets of London.
Well, just pick up a stone and throw it at one of the windows then.
that would mean being arrested in order to ride it. Wouldn't it? Still, if it's the only way, help me find a good stone.
Wow, Susato really wants to ride this carriage. It's just a carriage, Susato-san. It's not worth it. No, I wasn't serious. Okay. This patch of pavement must be where the incident occurred.
Yes, it's a very wide open space, isn't it?
Hiding. Oi, what are you foreigners doing here? Let the girl dream. She can dream. But it's like, golly. She wanted to be arrested for throwing a stone at the carriage. Ah. Oh, just investigating the scene, officer. Conspiring with the mustache fella from Japan, are you? Who are you talking about? Conspiring? Come here to destroy evidence, Evie. Get out of here before I give you an idea. Go on.
He shooed us away like rats.
Yes, we should give him a wide berth, I think?
What a disappointing experience.
Okay. Can I do anything else at the scene? There's nothing. Oh, I guess this. There are piles of snow on the pavement here and there, but the road itself is covered in carriage tracks.
It seems carriages often travel down Briar Road. It soon disperses all the snow.
I slipped over when I walked down the pavement earlier. It seems like it would be far safer to walk on the road instead. I did check the snowman. That was the first thing I checked.
Oh, but you're rather small, Mr. Naruto, and dressed in black. I worry coachman might not see you and you might be flattened by horses.
Well, thank you for the rather small concern. Like, I already checked the snowman. Nothing else? Nothing? Okay, I guess we'll go... We're gonna go this way.
Oh, a British bicycle, look! Although the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't have possibly been ridden anymore.
Someone must have been doing some breakneck cycling.
It seems bicycles have become extremely popular in London recently. There's even a movement to change women's dress to allow them to ride as well.
Bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone would want to ride something like that. Ryanosuke, I think you are delusional. A ton of people ride bicycles. You don't see the future.
Goodness, do you dislike bicycles?
No, not at all. I mean, it's not that I dislike them exactly. It's just that any occupation that involves taking both your feet off from ground seems reckless. Hasn't Cher changed to anything yet ever since they visited the UK? Yeah, she hasn't. Because she only has her clothes from Japan. And they don't have a lot of money, so she can't buy a lot of clothes. Have you ever tried walking on stilts and fallen into a river? I know you'd agree with me.
I'll have to hire a bicycle sometime. You can sit behind me while I ride you around.
I don't know what that person did.
That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has long and interesting history.
Well, time certainly seems to have taken its toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks in decidedly worse shape than the other houses around here.
We must find some cheap lodgings ourselves as soon as possible.
She just says duplicates of the same kimono? Yes. Yes, you're right. Cheap, but ideally with reasonable level floors. The clouds look so big and heavy in the sky, don't they? And with the dense fog as well, everything looks hazy.
Well, it is known as Foggy London Town.
You just make out some sort of spire through the fog. It looks like it's still being built, though. We don't know. I'm assuming it relates to the case at some point, but it's just there.
Aha, yes, that must be the Crystal Tower being built for the Great Exhibition that's open in 6 months' time. Apparently it's going to be very striking. Glazed on all sides and the symbolic centerpiece of the exhibition.
It has to be the largest exposition in history, isn't it? I can't even begin to imagine. Well, it's definitely a curve. Is this a different... Oh, look at the windows of that building there.
Are you sure they're windows?
Yes, but they're filled in with bricks.
Oh, you're right. I wonder why. Perhaps it's an empty property where nobody lives at the moment.
So they put bricks in the window? Huh? There's smoke coming from the chimneys, though.
Oh dear, everything still feels very foreign. There's so much we have to learn about this place.
I don't think it's a cultural issue. There is just bricks. There are literally just bricks. So people don't squat. I guess, but it's such a weird thing to do. Well, the thing is, there's smoke inside, so obviously there's somebody living in there. Do you see all that black smoke rising from the chimneys over there?
It says here that in Great Britain, many people heat their homes in winter using coal.
There's this one small wheel and one big wheel and a long curved base. I'm pretty sure it did at one time, yes. The only chimneys I really remember seeing in Japan were on top of the bathhouse. Do you think some of those houses could be on fire?
Not at all.
Well, even so, that much thick smoke bowling up to the heavens is surely going to turn the whole sky black sooner or later. I wonder if he's predicting the future.
Gosh, you may be right about that.
That is a tiny window. Alright, I don't really see anything else. Yeah, more windows your house has, the more tax you paid, so people... Huh, that's so weird. That's such a weird thing to tax someone on. That is so dumb. That is so dumb. Alright, I guess we'll just go to the prison. These prison cells are where suspects are held whilst they wait trial. Visiting is permitted at certain times. The bigger the house, the more windows you had. I guess. It's still weird. Local prison, cell 9. So these are British prison cells. Oh, how homey.
Oh, they're ghastly. It feels just like a dungeon.
Yes, and having experienced it myself in Japan, I assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls. Oh, poor Ryunosuke. And not the size or something like that. Okay, just the amount. Okay, that's not as bad. I still think it's bad, but at least it's not, like, ridiculous. Okay.
Well, don't, Mr. Naruto. You're making it seem worse.
Apparently, our client is in this cell here. But it's so dark at the back there, I can't make him out. I wonder what he's like. Inmate 53, your legal representative is here to see you. Stop hiding at the back of the cell and show your face at once. Am I? Am I a cat? I don't know. Who the heck am I a cat? And as yet with no name? calling me by a number utterly, unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonable. I refuse to answer.
Mr. Naruto, what? What do you think is going on here?
I have no idea, but I wasn't just hearing things, was I? No. That tirade of complaints was in Japanese. It's a Japanese citizen. Hello. What a way to greet each other. Excuse me, but who?
Shh, quiet!
Just because he doesn't look Asian doesn't mean he's not Japanese. Golly.
They're all around hiding. I know they are. They're watching, listening. Even now, I can sense it.
Right. So, could I ask you who exactly?
There you are. You've come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it. You're a ghost.
You don't say. A ghost? Susanoo doesn't know what to say.
We mean you no harm, prisoner-san. Are you Japanese by any chance?
Does anybody said that this man looks like... No. No one has said that yet. But I guess he kind of looks similar.
This is...
beyond my wildest dreams!
Forgive me for the outburst before. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's fine. We were just a little surprised, that's all.
Imagine it. It's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am, in a frightful fix in a foreign land. So hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark heckhole was a most monumental, moving moment.
Who could have guessed that this new client Lord Strongheart assigned to us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese? What a compassionate my fellow countrymen show to dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. First-class lawyer. I'm sorry. This is nothing against Ryunosuke. I don't think he's a top-rate lawyer. Yet.
Noble, nurturing, never-failing Nippon. A first-class lawyer?
Definitely. Oh dear, I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here.
I wonder, would you be so kind as to tell us what's happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example?
Yes, I can. I will.
Shit, stay sullen and silent. I'm not sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy.
Yes, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I'm a lawyer. As you said, my name is Ryunosuke Naruto. Yeah, he's kind of similar to Shakespeare.
And I'm Naruto-san's judicial assistant, Susanoo Mikotoba.
I am a visiting student sent here by our government.
Notably, notoriously named Natsumi. Sosuke Natsumi.
Okay. Sosuke Natsumi. Sosuke Natsumi-san, what an unusual name.
Call me Sosuke, please. I'm a poet, you see. I write of haiku.
Oh, that explains everything, doesn't it? He's a haiku writer? Oh my gosh, wow, the Shakespeare comparison really did fit, didn't it? Good for you, Natural, you predicted it. I guess he is.
It's something about nom de plum.
Haiku, not haiku. Those are different things. Haiku is volleyball. Haiku is a poem. Haiku. Haiku. I really did haiku in my time in college. Well, there you go. It's spelled exactly where it is. But Leo's saying haiku, which is volleyball. I think yaku is baseball. Yeah, that's the anime. Thank you? Oh my gosh. A nom de plum. You mean an alias?
That's right, Naruto-san. No, don't be so prosaic. It's much more refined than that.
And haiku, that really reminds me of home.
Did I hear you say that you were a visiting student sent over here by the government? Yes, that's right. A year ago, I was told to go and study English. First, I had to suffer that misery, and now this. It's beyond the pale.
Suffering that misery, did you not want to study here?
No, I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course.
Oh.
But just because the government tells you to do something doesn't mean you can do it. No. What do you mean?
Why would the government send a haiku poet writer to Britain to learn English? That's such a random thing to pick as a person to do so.
If they had told me to study English literature, that I could have understood. That's my field.
That would make sense. What did they make you learn?
But no, they told me to study the English language.
Well, the English language is important to learn English literature? Wouldn't that make sense? So the English language makes sense to understand English literature, to translate it into Japanese so that you can read it. Because if you can't read it, how can you study English literature if you cannot understand it and have no one to understand it? Yeah, I'm gonna be like, it's the foundation to be able to understand the literature then. I thought he was gonna say something crazy like, oh, they wanted me to learn English law. I thought that's what the plot point was going, because then I would understand him being like, what? What are you talking about? But yeah. And so he's silly.
Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonable.
I see.
Only the other day I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words on whitewashing. You must be a man of great standing. Oh yes, so I am often told.
Nothing like to be told, it seems. The accusation against you.
Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Soseki-san? I didn't do it! I didn't commit that atrocious murder! Murder? Oh, no, it's alright. That woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife, right before my eyes. Before your eyes, you mean you saw the attacker? I didn't see any.
What?
If I'd seen the person who did it, do you think I'd be locked up in here? Oh dear, it seems this case is becoming rather complicated. Why me? Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me?
Because fate doesn't like you, I guess.
It's a curse! The curse of London! It's incredibly, excuse me, irritably inconvenient.
So Soseki-san was there at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker. And it was in an open area, so I'm more surprised that he didn't see the attacker. How did she get stabbed then? If there's no hiding places for them to hide, how did they not see anybody? Unless she stabbed herself, but even then that would be weird. Why do that then?
It's vital that we find out more about the case.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, nobody? Nobody else. Did he contact the police? And they accused him because he was the only one? That's the only thing where I'm like, I'm still trying to get why he would be that. Just because he was the only one there doesn't necessarily mean he was the one who did it. About the case. Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear and heavy with fog. I'd been to the bookshop to buy some books, and I was on my way back to my accursed lodgings.
Sure, the bookshop wasn't accursed too?
As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her.
Oh my gosh.
She suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet.
Okay, so he just passed her. So they're walking. So if the book is her, he just passed her. So did he not hear someone running behind them that stabbed the woman in the back and then ran away? Did he not see anyone? That would be so weird. And obviously, I don't think she could do that to herself. That's a freaking horrible position to do that. So it can't be her. Oh, he is shaking.
How terrible. I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Were they the only ones on the street? Did he see somebody? Was there anybody around? Because he had to have seen someone. Because it's not like it's in the front where she could have accidentally done that to herself. It's right in the back. And not an easy place for her to just jam it into her back so she couldn't have done it. Is his fingerprints on the knife? Slight exaggeration there, perhaps. He should have walked away. Yeah, and then someone saw him walk away and he'd be arrested for suspicious behavior because he walked away from a scene and didn't report it. So I think he would have been screwed either way.
I was terrified. I had to get away from there.
Because you have to think, it's more suspicious if he doesn't report this than if he did. We don't even know if he was the one who reported it. We have no idea. I'm assuming a witness saw him walk past. Because that's the question. Who reported it? I'm not saying that there aren't killers who have reported their crimes to try to be not implicated, but in this situation, there's no way it would benefit him.
I was terrified. I had to get away from it. So I ran as fast as my legs could carry me to get back to my accursed lodgings.
So he did run away. That's not good. See? Your lesson got him put in prison. What do you mean?
Dale, they say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that. Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours? Don't be ridiculous. Do you think I know any of these fair-haired English? And a young woman at that? I'm different, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people.
I see. A young woman unknown to Suseki-san. And at the time it happened, who else did you see nearby? Did anybody pass you? It's an introvert. You don't say.
Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul.
So where did this knife appear? Out of the ghost of Christmas past? I don't know. There had to have been someone had to have witnessed him run away. Unless the lady reported him. That's the only thing I could think of, is unless there is other witnesses, or it's the lady who was stabbed reported him, because that was the only person she saw. No one? Oh, great.
So the victim was unknown to you, and there was no one else on the street at the time. That creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it?
What conundrum? Well, yeah. But once again, what man does not have spatial awareness or peripheral vision? That is true. Like, if he didn't see anyone, let's say the person who stabbed the woman was really fast. I could get maybe him not seeing anything because it's dark. But did he not hear anything? Because hearing something would be more helpful to him than anything right now. Conundrum. What do you mean, Susato-san? What's the conundrum?
Well, if what Suseki-san has just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says that he didn't know the victim and that there was no one else at the scene. Then he apparently fled without having been seen.
I did! Yeah, that's also another question. Where is the witness? If it's not the lady. But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit? Argue!
What did you say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything. Oops, perhaps I thought that a little loudly.
Actually, that's not what was troubling me. What I was thinking was, how did Soseki-san actually come to be arrested?
See, that's my question. Sorry?
He didn't touch the victim and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place?
Oh yes, she's right.
It was him! That accursed great detective! He led the police to me!
Oh, is it a certain name? Is his name Herlock?
Of all the bad luck! Accursed great
detective, could it be?
I should never forget that man's name as long as I live. With his haughty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness.
Yeah, that sounds like our Herlock. Yeah, he's probably gonna have a nervous breakdown.
Brash, big-headed, busybody, be gone!
Yep, it's our Herlock.
May you be accursed until the end of your days.
Herlock. Schloms. I knew it. How did he figure that out, though? Mr. Schloms? How the frick why is Herlock spelled like that? The last chapter was Herlock. Now it's her space lock. Could they not pick one way to spell it? Forgot he's British, I guess. I know it's a pun, but at the same point, why? I don't know. Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure.
It was the morning after the nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a silver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst through the door. They started shouting at me. This is the police. Put the weapon down. Yes, it was a thin silver. Yes, it was hard, but I wasn't eating a weapon. Disgusting. Dietary. Discrimination. Devils.
You clearly had a trying morning yesterday.
And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat.
Yeah, that sounds like Herlock.
That! Herlock Schlumps.
Schlumps. It's actually just Herlock Schlumps. He's English. Okay, it really is a pun.
I've since found that he's a famous name in detection here in London. Yes, the great detective is really very well known. And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently.
Well, you have to think Holmes, Schlom. Makes more sense. Schlom.
He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman. Me, this weak, stooped kitten of a man?
Huh? I don't know how to take that. I wonder what great deduction process led him to his conclusion this time. Do you mean to say that Mr. Schlum's deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? Oh boy, and we saw how bad it was 2 chapters ago. It's not bad. He's not completely far off, but does he say some crap that doesn't quite fit with the facts? Yes, he does.
That would be really most unreasonable. Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged their way in. Of course you were. That's only natural. I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me in impossible English. Fiendish, foreign, flammery.
Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English.
Good point. But my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. So I just kept repeating things like, yes, I do, and I'm fine.
So you screwed yourself up by not understanding the language. Oh, boy, did he just accidentally give a confession? Did he give a confession without understanding what was being said in front of him? Oh, boy.
The next thing I knew, I was in manacles. And before I knew it, I was thrown in here. Oh dear, I'm afraid that's hardly surprising.
I'm fine. He's not fine now. If you're asking, he said, I just kept repeating things like, yes, I do, and I'm fine. Can we give up on him? Oh, wow, you want to give up on the poor man? That's so mean.
Mr. Naruto Esquire.
Oh, you can just call me Naruto. And when you're speaking English, a simple Mr. is more than enough.
Oh, yes, alright, yes. They've really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind.
Huh?
But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow.
You're the one who said he should do it. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person how that works. Natural selection. You're the one who said it was a good idea, and I said that would be a bad idea, and that's one of the reasons he probably got arrested. I know he said that, but I don't understand what he means. No, he did not call Herlock that. He called him... Soseki called himself this weak, stooped kitten of a man. Soseki is talking about himself. Not Herlock. Because the line is, he thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman. Me, this weak, stooped kitten of a man. No, I wasn't talking about you. It's okay. It's okay. Reasonable to make a mistake.
You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you?
Well,
Why?
why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself, on a study tour. It's okay. It makes sense why you misunderstood.
A student?
I've defended a case in the Old Bailey, and only the one, though. But at this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to be leaving. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. Case in his... Well, he is wearing the outfit that Sherlock Holmes wears, so he is almost wearing the equivalent of a skirt. Well, a dress, more likely, but you know what I mean.
Oh, Naruto-san.
Not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm sort of a locum lawyer, I suppose. What, the coat? Yeah, that's what I was... He wears, like, a coat. I'm pretty sure Herlock wears a long coat. I might be wrong. I'm generally... don't know. Let me just check. Ace Attorney... Herlock... Yeah, it is the equivalent of a skirt. Here, I can show it real quick. No in advanced. Like, look. Isn't this what you would call the definition of a skirt? Look at it. What do you mean a raincoat? It's to his knees. And last time I checked, a raincoat doesn't have an extra thing at the top. What do you mean? Also, this is funny. The frick. I'm just saying, a skirt is a definition of a long-formed outfit that flares at the bottom. Well, what's the difference between a long coat and a dress? Yes, I guess that's what he looks like without the hat. Or someone's estimation of what he looks like without the hat. I don't really know if we see him without the hat that much. But likes to blaze it, so he's chilled. Okay.
But that armband, that's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire.
It does work. Well, that depends on the dress. Some dresses, like, have things that are attached with buttons, and then you let go and it flares out more. So it just really depends on what you mean. Like I said, the definition of a dress is very vague. It's a keepsake from the man who should have been here. He was my best friend. You took that off his dead body? I know he's not dead, but you know what I mean.
A keepsake?
Oh.
I know exactly what they're saying about me.
Oh, who do you mean?
The lawyers, all the British defense lawyers. They won't defend me.
Goodness, why? Why would you say that?
For the same reason as you noted before, when it happened. There was only the victim and myself around, and I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit.
Must be very hard for you, Soseki-san.
And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them. Nobody to be someone not to be trusted. Heard them openly laughing about me before, in my earshot without any punctuation at all.
Compunction at all. Yeah, it's bad. Someone poll said, oh yeah, he should have ran from the scene. That's why. Him staying was the reason why he got caught. No, it's because he ran away from the scene. And obviously was seen by someone.
Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said. And of course the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say, the man doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway.
If it was just him and the other person. Yeah. Anyway, and then denied. Wow. Yeah, he should have tried. That's awful.
They're wrong. I've studied more English than half of the policemen out there on the streets. I traveled halfway around the world to learn about these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me.
Well, I'm sorry that you've dealt with that, Soseki-san. A lot of people, I think, would be more willing to be around you than you would think. You just sadly were in a wrong place at the wrong time, and dealing with horrible people.
So, at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue.
Makes sense. Because then you can convey what you mean. Because that's difficult. That's why I walk away, so if there's a witness, you can make it sound like you didn't notice or did. In this situation, no. That looks about as much as suspicious as running away. That makes him look like a psychopath.
You could do it, couldn't you? When I looked into your eyes, I could see it. I could see what you've been through.
Seki-san, it's just that... Come on! This man's not got a lot of hope. Give me a little time, please. I'll do what I can for the time being.
What do you mean? We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure. Oh yes, thank you.
I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes, he should have tried to find somebody. Because then him running and trying to find someone makes more sense than him trying to run home.
We should be going then, Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for.
Shit. Yeah, we need to know who the witness is, if it's not the victim. Back to Japan? That makes him look even more suspicious. Alright, let's go back to the road. Maybe something is different? I guess that's a yes. Oh, hello! What's the Japanese delegation doing here?
Oh, Inspector Gregson.
This is not on the tourist trial, and I'm fairly certain you're well aware. Managed to see him run away, but not see the murder that happened less than 3 seconds ago. Yeah, that is the question. Like I said, it could be that the witness is the victim. Because she's alive. She just was injured.
Yes, of course. We're here to investigate.
So you've been to the holding cells, then? What do you make of the criminal?
He's not a criminal, as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect.
Yeah, she's alive. She is alive. The victim is alive. She was very lucky to be alive, but yeah, she is alive. I guess we didn't really... I kind of thought the victim was dead. I guess I didn't listen. It's okay. It's okay. In Ace Attorney, you expect the victim to not be alive. But in this instance, she is alive. But yeah, good for her that she lived it. But I'm guessing that the witness is her. Because if he went in front of her, she got stabbed, and she saw him... well, it's not like this is an actual person, so that's different. But she saw him. So, it'd be more likely for me to believe that witness, as the victim, saw him run away. Because that's the only thing that she could have seen. Yeah, as you say, Lou, that's exactly what I mean.
We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose.
Well, do what you will. Doesn't bother me.
The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens, and the verdict's a foregone conclusion.
The stone cold air of rejection.
Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone cold air.
That makes it worse somehow. Alright, converse. Scotland Yard.
Tell us about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I've been fascinated by the place.
The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, ma'am.
Was thinking, it feels so random. It is. Because this is the location. This is the location where it happened. So there's nowhere to hide. That's the thing. Because I'm assuming she got stabbed right here. Because this is what they have blocked off. There's nowhere to hide. And there's lights almost at there's two lights at the street corner and there's a light back there. So I'm surprised none of them saw anything. Misty, it happened in London, yeah. I guess. And yeah, as you say, it was misty. I guess that would make sense as well. Even with the lights, it probably could block any view of anybody running away. Well, especially when you're in a panic after seeing someone, like, fall to the ground after being stabbed. It makes sense why you'd be a little bit, like, disoriented and not being able to focus.
Oh, and you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet.
It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. Ah. You certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in the duty of protecting the city. Yeah, that would probably not help either. Cool.
Oh, yes, doesn't he look wonderful?
Being a London Bobby is ongoing, I can tell you.
Oh, really?
First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes around and rouses all the laborers on his feet so they can get off to work.
What, he wakes people up?
Yep. Raps on their windows with a long pole. Did it myself going back a bit.
I had no idea.
I didn't know that either. He's an alarm clock.
The Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just one of his duties. That's what it said. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance.
Can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way.
Let me see. 20 miles. That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama.
Ugh, that's a long walk. 20 miles is so long. On foot, that's definitely taking things a step too far.
And when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas lamps, street lamps.
Oh my.
And I suppose it's in between all of those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well.
And chase after criminals trying to evade the law.
I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly. More alongside, but yes.
Yeah, it's a lot. Oh yeah, I guess you guys only know how to do kilometers. For me, miles, I look at that and I'm like, no, that's so long of a walk. Holy moly, how do they have feet? That would hurt. That would hurt a lot.
They're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men keeling over from time to time, I admit.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
I always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruto.
No. You probably get slight endurance, but that's a lot. Give them bikes. That would help them. Yeah, give them bikes. It would help. Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. About the case.
It happened at around 5 in the evening 2 days ago, just here on the open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind.
Is it right that the lady's still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated in the hospital. Okay, so she's unconscious, so it's even more of a question. Who the frick said that it was him? Besides Herlock.
I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all.
Suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course.
Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want.
Really? Are you sure?
It's your policy to give lawyers defendant suspects the odd bit of information to go on.
Haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still.
Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept.
A local map is street map of the local area showing where the victim was found.
Anyway, as far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countrymen. So, who did it, do you think? Not much of a head-scratcher, is it?
Well, I know Mr. Natsumi is also claimed to have not seen anyone else around, but... I think it's a, book. Like a notebook that he can scratch down notes. Because detectives write down notes. So, I think it's a notebook. You know, a little book to write notes in. I don't know why he didn't put it in his pocket, but... yes. Maybe he doesn't have room in his pocket, so he put it up on his head.
Just because he didn't see anyone doesn't mean we can't be sure that nobody else was present.
I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure.
How?
Because, ma'am, the precise moment of stabbing didn't go unnoticed.
What? Okay, so now we're going to get the witness.
We have 2 very reliable witnesses, no less.
Ah,
It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them.
There were witnesses now? Witnesses. Who are the witnesses, Inspector?
Fellow and his wife, and the man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London.
Oh, you mean like Magnus McGuile? Then, if he's at the same level as Magnus McGuile, I don't know if we should call him reliable.
He's a copper from Scotland Yard.
Well, that makes me slightly suspicious. Yeah, it's like we've heard that line before. We saw what happened to the last guy. A policeman? Doesn't mean policemen can't be corrupt. That might change things. Depends.
and this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked?
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Nothing particular about that, ma'am. Part and parcel of being a Bobby, catching him bang in the act and all that.
So if he saw him, why didn't he run after him and to capture him, though? Why did he wait until later to say something? I'm very curious of why. Do you think it might be possible for us to ask that policeman a few questions?
Be my guest. You can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow.
Oh.
I've no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Jack was never found by Bobby's at all. So, It's definitely possible, but it is weird that that allegedly saw Natsume-san, the lady. Was most probably. It's possible, or at least has knowledge of of the cop's route. That's a whole different thing.
So that'll give you something to look forward to.
That's that then. Got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems.
A policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed.
You don't say, Susato-san. I wonder, I didn't think it would be so difficult before you said something. Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Oh yes, one more thing, Inspector.
What?
The person who led you to the suspect. I hear that it was Mr. Herlock Slomes. Well, yeah. What did you expect?
What are you bringing him up for?
Was it something I said? The color is drained from his cheeks. Tomorrow's trial was at least very smart. Yes, to some degree. Especially in the way that people were found. The ladies were found. Was very weirdly specific incisions, I guess is the wording.
That twitchy Japanese bloke going on trial tomorrow. Are you gonna defend him or not?
Well,
Makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt will touch that case with a barge pole.
knowledge at the very least since organs were extracted, yes. Yeah. That's all. Like I said, I'm not gonna keep on Jack the Ripper for long, but obviously there are some things that we know about him, but we have never figured out who he was. It's like, they're just some things. It's like, he could be a doctor. He could have been a part of the police force and worked in the morgue. We don't know. Well, you were hungry. It's not surprising. Hey, you're hungry, you're hungry. Well, we know for sure he's another kind of messed up for sure. Yep. Yes, he was. He was. Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean?
There's no way to save the man down. It's a waste of time trying.
Theory is that he was a barber from the... That's such a weirdly specific thing. I don't even know. We're not getting into that. That sounds so ridiculously stupid. How would... I'm not getting into it. Nope. Well, doesn't mean... Well, spaghetti doesn't technically have to have meatballs in it. It could just literally be noodles with sauce, which is spaghetti.
It's all a bit strange, though.
Sorry?
The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now.
Yeah, that is weird. Why did he appear now?
Yes, we did hear something to that effect.
And the other people he usually bothers with are the real scum. The master criminals. The violent ones.
Huh. Weird. Actually, doctors in the United States back in the... What? Really? That's strange. Well, I don't know, it's your dinner, you figure it out. Can't you just make them? Can't you just make that then? At least in this case, I don't think the cop witness is the one behind it, because there wasn't anyone around when the attack happened, so he had to be far away when he witnessed the attack, in my opinion. Definitely, I'm not saying that it is the cop. I'm just saying it's slightly weird. He could be in cahoots, for all we know. It could have been his wife, because it was the cop and the wife saw it.
What the frick? Were barbers just doing healthcare systems? Golly. I'm not saying, I'm meaning, don't you have, like, spare meat at home that you could make and cook like that? That's what I mean. Master of Criminals.
The violent ones?
That's right. He picks his victims. Only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins.
But Mr. Natsumi wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely.
That's just my point, sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. Has ever wondered why members were cut so sharp they had to be so they could do surgeries. On the frontier, solid healthcare is hard to come by, and they had tools. Huh. Interesting, you've taught me a new fun fact. Just steak and pork chop. Well, then, I guess just enjoy your spaghetti without the meat. Unless you want to add pork chop into it. Well, you could do a chicken parmesan. If you wanted to have some type of meat. That's the only thing that I could think of. So this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into. For want of a better phrase. It's probably happened before. Wouldn't be that unusual. Someone's probably done it. Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it? No, there's got to be more to it. For some reason he's taken an interest. Huh.
Really? What sort of reason, Inspector?
You think I can tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'd have to ask him yourself. It's about his trial. We're really going to have to face the Reaper again. The Lord of Darkness, as he puts it. Yep. Oh boy. Who did you hear that name from? Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsumi who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Shlomes was with the police when they entered his lodgings.
I'm sure it was the result of Mr. Shlome's inspirational great deductions.
Fiddle faddle! The man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere. Oh. I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of a crime. And clothes represent their bandaging way back to the medieval period. Huh! That's even very interesting. Wandering around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he? That's a word for it, isn't it?
He's great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he?
Gibble gabble. Ever seen this before? Oh, yes, that's Rancid Magazine.
The wonderful publication in which the Avengers of Sherlock Holmes appears.
Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And this so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Sherlock Holmes tale at all. Well, makes sense, because if it's supposed to be like Sherlock Holmes, I'm assuming that Sherlock Holmes, any other detective that was depicted in it, was considered stupid. At least that's my guess.
Well, I suppose there is an element of that.
We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be frumped by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. Yeah, he's got a... Yeah, Sherlock has a Watson. We do. There is a Watson. I don't know if we'll meet Watson in this game or the next game. Because I'm pretty sure we meet Watson. Or we've already met Watson. Maybe. I'm not sure. That man is dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals.
That can't really be true, can it, Inspector?
Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship, to say the least. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective.
Mr. Naruto, can I make a suggestion?
Oh, yes, what is it?
Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this.
Who specifically? Herlock? By him, do you mean Mr. Slomes?
Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Exactly.
Look at those shining eyes. You can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsumi did blame Mr. Slomes for all of this, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Slomes again.
I think it's just I think that's part of it. The trouble is, we have no idea of the man's address even. So how?
It's Baker Street.
How do you know that? I'm assuming it's in the frickin' magazine.
It's in the stories, of course. 221B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world.
That is true. It is very famous. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. Not really stalker, but, kind of? We better try to find our way there before Sato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable.
Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage.
So we're to have a reunion already. With the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Oh, my Detective Gumshoe never sent to jail. On purpose. On purpose. Yeah. Well, I definitely miss Gumshoe. Oh, I want to look at this. Calabash Road. Mershcombe Street. Huh. Alright. Away! To the suite of 221B Baker Street. Oh! Animation! Oh, there's Baker Street right above my head. Right there. Oh, such a gentleman.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day.
Good day to you, sir.
Thanks again.
Ah!
This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Yep. I told you they're British. Weren't they broke? They're not broke. They have very little money. Maybe they use the coin that Magnus Beguile gave to them. That's the only thing that I know that they have. February 19th, 12:53 p.m., Sloane Suite. I don't think they have. But maybe in the future it'll happen. What did they say? I didn't get to hear it. And the reason I learned about Barbara's doing in America for 2 years, I lived in a town that had before where I took a school trip. Huh. Interesting. Enough to spend on coaches. Sasato would consider it very important information. Why is his office such a mess? Check the pronunciation. Please. Well, you're gonna have to wait. I don't even know if I can get to it. Oh. There it is.
This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Showers.
It sounds like shards.
This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Showers.
Okay, it sounds like shards. What the frick? It sounds like he's saying shards. It sounds like shards. I don't know why it sounds like that to me. Check they haven't. There's only trials and tribulations. Well, yeah, because it was the biggest deal. I'm not deaf. It's just how it sounds. Shart? Shart. How does that fit with this? This does not look like that. See, shart sounds like shard. So this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. I'm just saying, that's how I hear it. It is as described in the story. Is it as it... I'm just gonna say it how I'm going to say it, because that's how I've heard it. Because you're gonna be stuck to me listening to the same thing, and I'm still not gonna get it. Is it as described in the story, Susato? Susato-san? Oh no.
Many famous cases have been solved here in this very room.
Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. I never read the story, so it's hard to get quite as excited about it as she seems to be.
The detective chases the villain restlessly as he disappears in the fog down an unlit London street.
Okay.
Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism. Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest?
Can't you?
Can't you, Mr. Naruto?
Oh, I suppose I can, yes.
So if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please, don't mind me.
She's obsessed. Where is the detective anyways? Well, looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Excuse me, is anybody home?
Oh, we have a visitor. Hello. Is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes?
By the way, I'm pretty sure... So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Watson. Hello? Wait.
Aren't you... Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once.
I'm pretty sure she's Watson. I'm sure it's the same girl. Miss Sato, did you see the girl who was just here? Yeah, she's the one who took from the last girl last time, the... smoke weapon?
Oh yes, isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case.
Did he shave the mustache? Who are you talking about specifically? Yeah, the bazooka. The King of Wera?
King Wilhelm Gerisch Sigismund von Ormiston, of course.
Watson doesn't have... I'm pretty sure Watson... I don't know, we'll probably get an explanation. I'm pretty sure that was Watson. Or whatever the heck the name that they have decided to jumble the letters to. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Herlock Sholmes for a moment, and look over there.
Tea's brewed, and I have freshly baked cake as well.
I guess he did something to his hair.
Ah, it's you.
I knew it. Sato-san recognizes her too. In this instance, I think...
Ah, there you are. And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine.
I'm pretty sure she's Watson, but I'm not positive. It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGuire's trial in the defense antechamber.
I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London.
Oh, yes, it was challenging. Well, this is also another universe, so it doesn't... You know that Watson could be male or female, depending on the universe that you put the character in.
Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know.
Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look that color? Good for her. My goodness.
Oh my, what a fragrance, yet mellow flavor. Hooray, it's a winner! I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you have yet another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck.
Well, ain't she nice?
Did Mr. Sloanes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley, do you?
Hurley? Mr. Sloane's to you, surely.
Mr. Sloanes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand again today, even though he just returned from overseas.
Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Does Harlock just have a... Well, I wouldn't be surprised if... So she's the one who made his gadgets? Probably. That would fit. I'm gonna be honest. It fits that Herlock would just never stop talking. Talking. Did she deduce all those things, do you think?
And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Sloane's suite? Oh, silly me, I haven't introduced myself, have I?
Curtsy? Wilson, there you go. It's Watson.
It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson.
So there you go. That's our Watson. Ta-da!
I live here together with Hurley.
Ah, Iris is it? What a lovely name.
What?
What's the matter?
No, wait, this can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson?
I mean, they made Herlock the opposite, Sherlock the opposite of what he is. Yeah, makes sense. What's the matter with Susato-san? Why is she so flustered all of a sudden?
Yes, that's right. And what are your names?
I don't think that's what is being made here, but if that's how you read it. Oh, by the way, because I'm kind of in the way. The end of her hair has hearts. Look! She has hearts at the end of her hair. It was the opposite of an ex-military doctor, Watson. Oh, he was an ex-military doctor? Huh. Oh, I'm Ryanosuke Naruto, a lawyer from Japan. She can be both.
Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruto's judicial assistant, Susato Mikatoba. It's wonderful to meet you. Lovely, Susie and Runo. Got it.
Not even close.
Susie?
And Runo? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her. I don't know where to start.
Yes, and so do I.
How do you say judicial? Judicial. Alright. Let me save. Converse. I said judicial. Judicial. Wilson. Or Iris, excuse me. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey.
Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much. Oh no, not at all. I'm so sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming.
Though at the time we did have a rather large weapon pointed at us. Oh, why'd you bring... Oh my gosh. That's a bazooka.
Like this?
What the frick? I've come to the conclusion that might be as menacing as I thought. They're not menacing. I don't know what... You're the person who knows Jigglypuff more than anyone else in the chat. Of course Jigglypuff isn't menacing. It can be a menace, it's just not scary.
Thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you?
Oh yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade.
Oh, Ginny? Yes, she's a professional pickpocket.
So we found out.
It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that.
Are you referring to that trial disrupting weapon-like contraption?
Exactly, so I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruction mechanism in my inventions.
I don't know about that one. This girl is dangerous.
Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that, so she could apologize to my trusty technician.
Sorry, you're a technician?
Hurley, of course, silly. Hurley? Yes, Herlock. Herlock Slomes. We live here together.
I had no idea the great detective has such an interesting young daughter.
Daughter? Not likely.
What? Chasing one through a forest is scary, but what about it, Jigglypuff?
I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I?
Yeah, that would be very strange.
Well then, what is your relationship with Mr. Slomes? Well, I expect you'd find out that the lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate.
Your roommates?
I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you?
It is freaking origin, golly. 10? You're 10? You're 10 years old. Where are your parents, child?
10? At last this year?
Well, what of your mother and father?
Oh no, they're not around.
Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there. That is a good question. Wilson.
Oh yes, there's something I must ask you.
Maybe he did. We have no idea.
Of course, go ahead, Susie.
Let's go with that.
I'm a very great fan of the adventures of Herlock Sholmes and... Oh, you have a copy of Rancid magazine. Yes, I'd read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship. Oh, this is so exciting! My stories are being read on the other side of the world!
My stories?
That's right, Hurley's always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating.
So he leaves a 10-year-old left here for months at end, all by herself. I have many questions.
It would be
Goodness.
It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, don't you think?
Oh, so she wrote them. Well, yes, she can craft weapons, but she also can write, apparently. I think she'll be fine. I just think the logistics of it is a little weird, wouldn't you say?
Goodness. Last night, he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land.
Yes, I agree she would be fine, but the question is, does no one question that?
Simon's just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before he came.
I don't know, we have no idea if she was part of the military. She would be fine, golly.
So you are the author? Yes, I'll let you in on a secret if you'd like. I'm going to call this latest adventure the Speckled Band.
So the person we've been hearing at the beginning of these chapters is her. The Speckled Band, that's certainly very familiar.
Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories, here and there. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble.
Oh, that was Mr. Sloane's first thought as well, actually.
Yes, and of course I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but...
No, wait, I assume she gets money from the publication. I assume so. But my bow is bigger. Yeah, it's similar. Definitely similar.
It's a story, so poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think, don't you?
But what about the other girl she takes care of, though? Ah! That girl just is on the streets, from my understanding.
So, do you mean to say... Are the stories about Mr. Sloane's that are published in the Rancid magazine? All written by me? Yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter.
Hey, but it starts with the G. Gina? It's Gina.
But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson.
There you go. Well, there's John H. Wilson. Sato-san's getting more and more worked up.
Ah, yes, that's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson. But what about the doctor of medicine part? That's all true too, I'm a doctor of medicine.
What? I don't know. Harrison? Harry? Harrington? No, at 10 years old?
At 10 years old.
No, I don't believe it. I can believe someone being a lawyer at frickin' 13. I do not believe you being a doctor at 10. I have many questions. Well, that's quite incredible.
But Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman.
She made a bazooka. So, you're telling me she had enough time to study and be able to get a license for medical treatment? There's a very big difference. See, it's a medical degree.
Ah, yes. I did alter the setting slightly for the stories to be more compelling. Oh. Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow?
Yes, it does.
I suppose it does, yes.
Or Sato-san. Well, rules is technically in the term. I don't think there's technical rules because no one expects a 10-year-old to be able to take to get a medical license. Wield a scalpel. I don't know. Yeah, it sounds like a Japanese anime. Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't think there's particular rules as long as you take the classes necessary and take the exam and pass to get the license. That's all that matters. Age is not really a requirement from at least that's my understanding. Your deductions just now. About before.
Yes, what's on your mind, Runo? Tell me.
Hasn't even been discovered yet. Yeah, that doesn't mean that there's still many questions. You get your degree faster. Well, if she's in the military, there's many questions to be asked. She's 10, so her parents have sent her at least for a couple years. That time, oh my golly. How did you know that I was a lawyer and we just arrived in London, I mean?
Yes. Oh, and that we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all that? Oh, that's what you mean. Please tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted, although there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin.
And you get a prisoner into your era? That still doesn't mean that a 10-year-old should be able to get a license. Let alone a degree. A 10-year-old. Oh, that's a look.
Iris Wilson is proud to present her logic and reasoning spectacular.
No, it doesn't. Oh.
First of all, I knew already that you were a lawyer, Bruno. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber.
But you also said that we'd only just arrived in London. How did you know that?
I observed a passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket.
Why would a 10-year-old be efficient in operations? We're not getting into this now. Oh.
I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs.
Ha! He really does have the vampire look now. Yeah, that's still weird. I know it is. That medicine has progressed a lot, but golly, it really does show a vampire look. Golly. The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Then I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with a suspect, weren't you? Earlier today? Ah. They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize.
No, we should not.
And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So that told me that even though you'd only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGuile, the two of you had already had cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face, so I concluded that the prison was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case.
No, it would not be good. Golly, you guys.
But how could you have known that the trial is tomorrow? Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It obviously amused him. He told me he'd caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling.
A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been...
Mr. Natsumi. Now, Runo has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourselves, so I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion that... there was only one conclusion those facts could lead to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case.
She is a lot more good at deductions than Hurley is. Or Herlock.
There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley's always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He is silly.
Why the frick is he stabbing all of his notes with knives? Why? Why? That ruins the wall! And there's a 10-year-old around. What the frick? And letter patrol. Yeah, because he can. Apparently he had enough time to do so. He's not freaking here. Why not? Because it's unnecessary.
And that's all there is to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions.
Golly.
Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct?
Unnecessary but cool. Yeah, I guess. They were spot on. A buffer. It's okay. Yes, of course she's better. What did you expect?
That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction.
You even managed the certain something of Mr. Sloane's delivery.
Oh, well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that. This is really very good news. You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please?
The case of the Japanese man. So yesterday, Mr. Sloane's apprehended a Japanese man, you were saying. No, she's not being a lawyer too. Golly, she doesn't need every occupation.
Yes. Hurley had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage. But the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene.
She does. Rent is going up. She has 2 occupations. Why does she need a 3rd occupation? Ah, the great detective is a popular man, it seems.
Apparently, a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking, stooped man running away from the scene. A short, shifty-looking, stooped man? Mr. Natsumi, beyond any doubt.
Suzeki-san said that he didn't see anybody else on the street at all. But it seems there were witnesses after all. Her luck needs to profit off her. What the frick? Golly, let's not go that far.
Hurley used his great detective powers to determine the man's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking, stooped man shivering in fear.
No, she rates them because she's bored. There's a difference. Ugh, Mr. Sloane's great deduction certainly hit the mark that time.
Of course it did. He's a great detective.
Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it? Who knows? Okay. Let's calm down with that, golly.
Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly. Hurley says that London is rife with crime.
Oh.
Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, I hadn't realized the situation was so dire.
No. Leave them alone.
That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying the criminals in court.
Well, doesn't that mean that the law should be fixed? Keep the child away from the mines.
Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person.
Why do you think Minecraft is that popular? Oh my gosh.
That's terrible. I suppose it's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system.
I suppose it is, but in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Suseki-san. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative, has it?
Oh, you're most welcome. had so much fun.
Do you happen to know where Mr. Sloan is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well.
Oh, well, I expect Hurley's still investigating the scene.
Of the case involving Mr. Natsumi, you mean? Yeah, I was like, what information did we get? Besides the fact that she's the one who wrote the Ransom magazine stories, which is good information, just not related to the case.
Yes, Mr. Not-So-May? Hurley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there.
Yeah, it doesn't help the case, really.
Iris, do you know where the lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson while you were there?
Yes, we know Inspector Gregson.
Oh, goody! In that case... Give Gregsy this for me, will you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know.
What is this?
A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems.
Iris's postcard has been entered into the court record.
It reads, tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem?
What the frick does that mean?
Gosh, will this will make the inspector help us, will it?
Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. That seems suspicious.
Good luck, then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, The Speckled Band.
I guess. It just seems weird.
And I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back again soon. We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Well, Mr. Naruto, it's back to the scene of the crime.
I have many questions. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard at all. We headed back to the scene with Iris's curious note and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. To be continued right now. And just out of concern for the 10-year-old. See? Say? I'm not the only one who's wondering. She'll be fine. What do you mean? Blah, blah, blah. 2:38 p.m. Briar Road. It looks as though the police are still here carrying on with their investigation.
Perfect, so let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible.
Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. Oh, not this. I want to look at this. Victoria de Kratia? You tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that that won't be a problem. Iris Wilson. Huh? This is a 5-shilling piece, isn't it? I believe it's called a crown. Yes, you can train a Scotland Yard detective to do whatever you want with just a single one.
You're supposed to be most powerful 10-year-old in the world.
How much is 5 shillings, by the way? What's it really worth?
Well, it's probably enough to buy all the chips in the inspector could possibly eat in a whole month.
A whole month? That's greasy. That's a lot. Here you go. Here's your, I guess, the equivalent of a bribe. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment?
Sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure.
We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson.
What? For me? From her ladyship?
Her ladyship? If she's the freaking queen, I'm done. Her ladyship.
Give that here at once! Come on, hand it over, that's for me!
Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? Powerful 10-year-old. She definitely is. What was that coin exactly?
It's a silver crown, obviously. But it's a lot more than that. It's an appearance fee, that's what it is.
An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean...
That's right, for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me, every time.
Oh, so she gives you money. So you talk so bad about this, but you still get paid for your appearance in the stories.
You're in that regard.
Yeah. So she pays them. She gives them their part of the royalties from the stories. She's freaking cool. Iris is awesome.
Yes, of course, I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly.
Golly.
Of course, her using my name without my say-so does make me a butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still.
I'm sorry, Inspector, that must be difficult for you.
Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh?
Sorry?
Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. It says... Well, it's obviously is not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know?
Well, obviously, Herlock is the one that keeps her company.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings.
Excuse me.
Ah, the little knife-wielding, mustache Japanese fellow? He lives in a right old hovel, just over there, look!
Wow, so he did not run far. So he literally ran next door. Huh.
On the first floor of that house on the corner where that wreck of a bicycle propped up. Bicycle's propped up.
That is nearby indeed.
If I remember rightly, the landlord is Mr. John Garib.
Greed?
Right, well, if you see her again, make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it, you tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes.
Don't worry, Inspector, we will.
Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship.
You literally could think that she was the queen. It's kind of wild.
Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left.
The salute, golly. Yeah, so then shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? She could be the queen. We have no idea. I'm just saying he calls her ladyship and frickin' salutes, so... It's not... I don't think she is. But that's what I said earlier. I'm like, if she's the queen, I'm done. I'm done. Oh, boy. It would be wild.
That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has long and interesting history.
Well, certainly seems to have taken its toll on the place. I'd have felt bad for a blue blood. Wow. From where the incident took place, I see. Must be awful for Soseki-san getting caught up in something like this in a foreign land. Alright. Can I move inside? Alright. The lodgings of Mr. Soseki Natsume, according to information gleaned from Inspector Gregson. Yeah, she's the Queen of London, just not in the actual Queen of London. Mr. Natsume's lodge. What the frick am I looking at? What am I looking at? Huh? Oh, hello.
May I help you?
Yes, would this be the residence of Mr. John Garib?
Indeed it would, sir. And who, may I say, is calling?
My name is Ryunosuke Naruto. I am...
Mr. Naruto is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here?
She was so happy. Yeah, she has a very nice apron.
You would very much like to ask him some questions about our client.
She's so happy.
One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garib.
Garib? Did you see that, Miss Sato? That was a real-life English maid.
I know, and as I understand it, anyone of a standing in English society employs a number of household staff.
Oh! This point still makes sense. Yes, he's got a bunch of random crap all around. What the frick is this? Why? He is a poet. Why does he have this? Yes, I guess the canon is a maid.
But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better.
Certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it?
We need only to meet a butler and the experience will be complete.
No, I'm just wondering why he has a cannon and a military uniform. And missiles! That's the thing that I'm wondering, is why does he have these things if he's a poet? Like, why do you need these things? What is necessary about that for learning the English language? That's what I'm wondering. Well, I'm not sure if I go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Well, you don't want one. I get the uniform, I don't get the... You don't see the sword? There too? And the missiles?
Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garib will see you now, this way.
Okay, hello. I have many questions about this. That's a full-size cannon. What's it doing in here?
Oh my, it's real. I thought it might be a replica.
That old thing, that's little more than a toy.
Sorry?
The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon about the house.
Signal. Yeah, he kinda does. Looks like a crescent moon. Really, isn't it? Overkill?
Be prepared, I say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy.
Do you think there might be trouble brewing, Mr. Garib?
Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserves. Dries them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well on the cannon there. Joan tells me, which rather proves my point, I feel.
It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame.
That looks like a Medal of Honor, and it's showcased on a very grand banner.
Why is it crooked? Yes, it's displayed with some pride, I would say, although it bothers me that it's not straight.
What, that old thing?
Sorry? I'm not being mean to the cannon. It's just like, golly, he has enough money to buy a cannon and just uses it as a drying rack. Okay, you're talking to them. To Garib? Garib?
I should be glad to see the back of it, but the general would turn in his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's the best place for it. Keeps the bally things out of my way.
So it's just been polished to shine by accident, I suppose?
There appears to have be an inscription on the medal itself. Look. Let me see. It says, for distinguished participation.
Sounds like the kind of honors even I could be in line for.
Well, one does not to blow one's own trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army.
By the way, that coffee must taste disgusting from the frickin' pipe.
Can't measure an officer by number of medals to his names, of course. Common knowledge in military circles.
That just looks disgusting. What is that on the floor? That's a candle on the floor. Why is there a candle on the floor?
Look at the enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely.
Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder?
I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek. Ahem.
Maybe let's not, Miss Susato. Yes, you got a participation. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea.
Ahem.
That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it?
Clearly been well looked after, though.
That old thing? Not much better than rags, really. I tried to, it won't let me. Oh?
Wear that ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know. I'm not one for dwelling on the past. Me would have gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, it doesn't hurt to have that old piece of memorabilia lying around, does it? Oh, I see.
Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. Yeah, like, look, I tried it. It won't let me. The closest was this, so I thought, oh, maybe if I click that. What is it? Okay. What the frick happened over here? Oh, I guess I'm in the way. You guys can't see. Not that. The other thing. Look at that. What happened over here? Why is that what happened in the shelf? Was there a fight? Oh, and that's where the candle's missing. Okay. Look at this crockery on display here. It looks rather unusual, isn't it? Earthquake? Just in that corner?
Oh my, a genuine London dresser. Isn't it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken and the crockery is... Oh dear, it's in pieces.
A very tiny earthquake. In that particular spot. It really is. The word cracked wouldn't do that Chinaware justice. We really don't get those. Well, yeah, you're not like on a fault line, so that doesn't happen.
I wonder. Excuse me, I wonder. Perhaps the cannon was fired at it.
You're gonna tell me they put the cannon there? There's not a giant hole in the wall. A very tiny, specific earthquake. Yeah, probably something like that, but let's not delve too deeply here. Okay, let's... candlestick.
This old candle holder looks a little out of place here, wouldn't you say?
Yes, you're right. It's clearly supposed to be gold, but it's almost completely black for some reason.
That old thing, yes. Just a cheap piece of iron Montgomery. Gimme. Grimcrack, really?
Oh.
Used it when I was studying, don't you know? For my commission. I know it's old, hardly worth hanging on to, really, but, well, still has its uses sometimes. Of course.
Does everything in this room have some elaborate story behind it?
They're memories, Mr. Naruto. Memories.
Not really, but if that's what makes him happy, sure. Alright.
Good day to you, John Garib, at your service. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryanosuke Naruto. He's a defense lawyer.
How does he live like this? I don't know.
Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of... My wind.
My wand, don't you know?
Bryn has the giant... Huh. Well, and they, what the frick are those called? The stone things in a circle? No earthquakes, though.
Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings. Not the big ones.
Golly. So he's a retired soldier.
It's a heck of a job getting up and down stairs now. I can tell you, don't get out much, as you can imagine.
Stonehenge. Thank you. Couldn't think of the name. Yes, it's quite a climb up to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of up the stairs.
You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruto.
Well, do you think so?
Well, Mr. Garib, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal.
Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a folder rule. Really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I begrudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly.
That's a weird way to tip over.
Joan, fetch the... Oh! Dash it, woman, be careful. Oh, dear me, I do beg your pardon, sir.
You over her shoulder with these. Yeah.
I should be more careful, sir. So anyway, there you have it, living the quiet life now.
Yes, I see.
Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right?
Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us.
Only two, please, naturally, especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blakely. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were.
Oh, is it? It's been frickin' 2 days!
Even had some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe?
Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Could have been. I didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business.
Oh, but you have a copy of Rancid magazine here, so...
No,
Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak.
So he's in Soseki's son's room.
It's bally nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss, it's jolly unsettling.
About Mr. Natsume.
About Mr. Natsume, then, Mr. Garib. Please do tell us.
Ah, yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week.
Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently, then?
I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. First floor room became available a week ago. So you... Ah! Cash it all, Joan. Do be careful.
Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Oh? Why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, was shaking and looking over his shoulder.
Well, he's in a new country, and doesn't know the language, and has to deal with people having assumptions and stereotyping of him. I think he has a right to be very scared.
The man had shady rent across his sweaty silk brow, if you ask me.
Yeah, she's very suspicious.
I say to myself, John, that man is trouble. Sooner or later he's going to do something untoward.
Yeah, and he's introverted too, so it's like, leave him alone.
And I'm rarely wrong about anything.
Well, you're very wrong about how much tea you put in the cup. We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure.
Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all?
Yes, oh yes, there was.
She's dying to tell us. The shady lodger.
Had you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsumi? To admit he's a nerd, he reads Herlock's stories too. Yep.
Oh my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room, absolutely stuffed full of books it was, more than anyone could ever read.
Well, he's a poet, so it makes sense.
And he never so much as passed the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call.
He's an introvert, and shy, and in a new country, and I've only been there a year. I'm surprised that you would expect him to have friends right away.
He just trots off the old bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed too.
Oh, I see. He's allowed to be up. Leave the man alone. He's done nothing weird.
The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night, but I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning.
Ah. He has an interesting sleep schedule, I guess.
Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray?
If he was a woman in the Middle Ages, he'd be accused of witchcraft. Probably.
How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine?
Good question. Susato, how do you know, Joan?
Oh. I understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct?
That's right, yes, they're both below us on the first floor and street level.
Then how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example. Even times they go to bed.
Ah! Good grief, Joan, be careful, woman.
Oh goodness, sir, I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Something doesn't add up here. The incident 2 days ago. It seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time?
That window?
Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. That incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
5 o'clock is dinner time in Garib household. So I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan?
No, sir, it would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with that fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road.
Oh, I see.
Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as...
Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated.
Well...
Yes? Was there something then?
Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but at around that sort of time in there...
Ah! For the love of Pete! Joan, watch what you're doing!
Oh dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir.
Do be more careful, Warren.
Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Narrow Hollow.
Oh, yes?
I have an exceedingly good memory, as far as I can remember. Nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all.
Oh, really? Mr. Garib? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been.
Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really, nothing of...
Can you stop, Joan? Can you stop and let him talk?
Begging your pardon, sir? Nothing happened.
So she's trying to lie, try to cover it up.
Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan?
That's right, Mr. Garib.
That's right, Mr. Garib.
What is the matter with these two?
It sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident. But what?
I wish I knew. Mr. Natsume's room. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly. Just below us on the first floor.
And Mr. Shloms is investigating there, even as we speak?
Yes, told Nat's his name had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key.
Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Shloms' services?
That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we also had a look around? In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean. Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Who knows if we find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we?
Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Shloms again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more.
Okay, this conversation's not over. You two will be back. The suite on the top floor of the Garib household occupied by the landlord, Mr. Garib, and his wife. The window looks out Briar Road below. His wife? Who's his wife? Is Joan his wife? Maid, who works at the Garib household, the main duty appears to be standing at Mr. Garib's side pointee. Apparently he lives here with his wife. Didn't say a maid. His wife. Is she his wife? Questions. Oh, yep, that looks like a creative visionary. This room, yep. The poor thing has bricks on his one window. Wow. And he's got a cat. He took an arrow to the knee. Yep. So that they're married, so we haven't met his wife. Well, we don't know. It just says maid and then age, question mark, question mark, question mark. Even though her name is Joan. So many questions have yet to be, told. What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here, because there's no window. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. Yeah, but we have... Just because it didn't say they're married doesn't mean anything. It could be that they are married. It just says... the thing said his wife. It never said about living with the maid lived there, so I'm wondering.
I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life.
No, me neither.
It's so dark in here, too.
Maybe, I have no idea. We'll find out.
Is that the window over there?
Well, it was the window, I think, yes, once upon a time. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and motar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives.
By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Shloms anywhere, have you?
He's probably frickin' on the wall. No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garib told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Or he's sleeping. It would be weird if they were married and she still acted as a maid, though I won't judge. I don't know. I'm just guessing. It might not be. Maybe his wife is asleep. We have no idea. What do you think is in the pot to the left? Pot to the left? You mean this? Clue.
Oh, look, it's a beckoning cat from home.
It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Mike Neko all the way from Japan with him. Oh, there's a definite possibility. The other left.
I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruto. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage?
Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. I know left and right, thank you very much.
Well, I'd imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him.
It's not doing a very good job so far, is it?
You mustn't say such things.
I didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about this. Well, that depends on your perspective of left and right. You know? Golly. I just looked. I just asked. Oh, are you talking about... Because this is a pot. I didn't see this yet. Give me a chance. Why specifically for? Look at all these balls of paper on the floor. There are notes scrawled all over them in English. Looks like the waste paper basket is so full that they've just fallen out.
I think Mr. Natsume must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you think?
Or deeply averse to tidying up his mess.
I would like to speculate which is closer to the truth. I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth.
The poor man has nowhere... This is what he sleeps in. This is sad. Hello. Yawn. Stretch, stretch. Wander, wander, wander. Goodbye.
Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away?
I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It's a tricolor Mike, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Oh my gosh. You saw the man who lives in this room. Golly.
Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan.
That made me feel homesick now.
Already? But we've only been in the country for 2 days. That desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountains of books on either side.
I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounding on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yeah, this is all about predecessors. Yes.
Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books.
Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look, and the date of the purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. Well, Phoenix and the Judge's predecessor. That's the day of the incident.
That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books.
The second-hand book receipt has been entered into the court record. Okay. I have a sneaking suspicion that the detective is over here. How did I guess? Hello, old chap.
Ah, look, Mr. Naruto.
Aha, there he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the
pages of an old book. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him.
I couldn't approachable with a dip, but he couldn't have. Oh my gosh. Golly, I don't think that works in the past.
Hello, Mr. Slomes.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's you two. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Slomes, we were together on the SS Bureau. Oh, of course, the Bureau. And let me see, what happened on that voyage?
It was Kazuma Asugoi. He died tragically. Blank. Blank, 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 blank. but you were a great help to us.
Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Osgoy. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh!
Well, you seem to remember. Something of it, at least. Not really. I can only blink. I don't really... Not really. I can't wink. I'm trying to. I'm winking right now. I can't do it. I can only blink.
What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Shlomes.
Yes, I blinked repeatedly because that's all I could think of.
This is Mr.
Oh, no, my dear madam. Hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior power of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naroda and Mr. Sasato. Well, he was close. He got the right names, just the wrong person. Try the other way around, Mr. Slomes. I lose the first round. He has not changed much. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. Good tracking with your eyes. I thought it would also let you blink. Well, it could also just be... Yeah, no. I was like, maybe it's my glasses. Nope, it just won't let me. But it can track my eyebrows, if you haven't seen. It tracks my eyebrows pretty well. I don't know why. It just sometimes does. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. Yeah, but I still have this here. And they're not that long, golly. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no time than 30 minutes. Wonder why? I don't know. I have no idea. So they apprehended Suzeki-san in that short of amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It's a mistake to think that one's brain act has an elastic walls and can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of immutable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. You mean Zyrus, I suppose?
Mr. Shlomes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Goodness, what an earnest expression! My dear madam, I should be only too pleased that this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Alright. I'm gonna go a little bit longer since I was a little late, so we'll do a couple more minutes. We'll do everything that has to do with Herlock, and then I'll end for the night. Mr. Natsume's arrest. We know this had to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Suzeki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Shlomes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was the name of... rather along those lines. It's not a big deal. Because I do want to know what he has to say. Thank you for your mercy, golly.
But Mr. Natsume denies it? Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little?
I'm sorry, Mr. Sato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
What?
I can't believe he was looking Susato squarely in the eyes while feigning ignorance.
I assure you I'm not merely feigning ignorance.
Wow. Does everyone read Ryanosuke's mind, or is he just loud speaking in his thoughts?
It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension.
Oh, how so?
I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your duped compatriot of the crime.
Yeah, he is like an open book. But that doesn't make sense.
The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request to me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of the man seen fleeing the crime scene.
Ah, a man seen fleeing.
There are a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question.
So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit, then?
That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my facilities, hence why I'm here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliography.
Bibliography. Goodness. High school, I would say. Ha ha ha.
Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no.
Oh dear.
Mr. Garib, the landlord.
Tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings?
Yes, Mr. Garib, a retired military man.
Yeah, Yep.
It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services.
And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. What do you mean? Golly! I didn't think it was that funny.
I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer.
I'm glad that it was funny.
And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein.
Betoken their social standing? Sorry?
Put it simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that.
Wow, the standards back then were frickin' high. Golly.
In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary.
As you cannot appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance.
I had no idea.
It is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs, specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garib.
Oh?
Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am not yet able to ascertain.
I am thoroughly lost on what he means to say. The dingy room.
This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place as such as this will stab somebody sooner or later.
Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one.
But sooner or later, as I said.
I don't believe that's the issue here.
About this dark little room, Mr. Slomes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea?
No window?
Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. Yes, he just installed it. Yes, he did. I guess he kinda did. But it's completely blocked with bricks.
I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax.
Wow, look at you. You brought it in. Good for you, Paul. Window tax? What is that?
Surely, not a tax on windows.
Precisely that.
Oh my goodness.
Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means having inherited a sizable, costly family home, perhaps rapidly closed windows up.
Oh my god.
While the rich open windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money.
How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light.
Indeed, disease was rife as a result. Some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. Oh, 40 years ago. Oh, we're talking about the window tax. But its legacy remains, as you see. It's squalling lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsumi's step-in for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price.
Because the room is so awful, I should think.
Capitalism? Yes. Apparently, Mr. Natsumi only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here, a matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Slomes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remember that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To be the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure on what grounds. Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Well, your descendant does, so I think you should too. Yes, trust. Mr. Slomes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there were simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to have seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Yes, such deduction. Ah, and one more thing.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Slomes? Tell us.
I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to the case, but I'm quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Thanks. He's such a big help. Mr. Garib is? Mr. Slomes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case.
Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence.
No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probe a little deeper into Mr. Garib's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, thank you. Herlock? A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his books in the corner of the room. Alright, that's where we're gonna end for the night. So, we got to know a lot about the case. We know our client. We've seen Herlock again. Next time we'll be dealing with the landlord. And probably Van Zeek, so. Yeah. Tomorrow is Zenless Zone Zero, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it's Zenless Zone Zero. No, I don't take a break. Probably not. Like I said, it's a maybe, but probably not. Anyway, thank you guys for watching the stream, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!